You are watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome back to Flashbacks, the series that I have put on hiatus for far too fucking long. And for one main reason, I had no way to record this game. This is of course part 3 of my 3-parter on classic shooters. Now, the difference between this and the first 2 entries on this list, I didn't play this as a kid. I know that's kind of going against what Flashbacks is about, but if you remember from the very first episode of Flashbacks, if you've ever seen it, I'm also going to talk about older things which I discovered later in life. This I discovered when it first came out on the Xbox 360. I was a teenager at the time, if I'm not mistaken, and I fucking loved it. Duke Nukem basically takes a lot of the stuff that Doom and Wolfenstein had and improves on it in a lot of ways. It still has very much the same mechanics, except now you can jump, pick up jetpacks, all sorts of things. It's basically, Doom and Wolfenstein on steroids.
Cool.
And Duke Nukem, I feel this is the best Duke Nukem game. Obviously, it's not the first Duke Nukem game. The first was actually a side-scroller, as was the second. The franchise is pretty much dying out, or was dying out, after Duke Nukem Forever. A lot of people didn't like it anymore. I still fucking love this franchise, but this game in particular is my favorite. I liked Duke Nukem Forever. I know it's a very unpopular game, and I know it has its reasons for being hated, but I fucking love the game, even though it's nowhere near as good as this game. Now, the way I'm actually recording this now is they actually released a 20th anniversary edition that features an entirely new episode, which is fucking great, so I would recommend getting it if you don't have it. It's $20. Also, it does not include all the stuff that the Megaton edition had, so that's one drawback to it. It only has the original 3 episodes plus a 4th episode. Or no, I'm sorry, the original 4 episodes and then a new 5th episode. Now, I've already played through the 5th episode, and I fucking loved it. They got the original team to come back and make it, and they recorded all new dialogue for Duke, and it's a classic now. I mean, this game is amazing, and I'm going to talk a little bit now about the actual game and how I was first introduced to the series. Now, I mentioned that the first time I played this game was on the 360 when it came out. But that wasn't my first exposure to Duke Nukem. I had a friend growing up who was obsessed with the game. It was his favorite. Not this game, though. His favorite was Duke Nukem Time to Kill, which is a completely different game. It's a 3D puzzle platformer sort of thing, kind of like Tomb Raider. The classic Tomb Raiders, that is. And I guess to an extent the new one, but whatever. Now, one thing I will mention about this series is it's very much a product of the 90s. Toilet humor, 90s movies references, strippers, fucking action, gore, all sorts of shit that makes it a very 90s series. And, if you're not a fan of things from the 90s, that might turn you off. But you know what? I fucking love this shit, and if you love 90s stuff, then you'll fucking love this.
Cool.
Not to mention, the game's a classic. I mean, I consider Doom, Duke Nukem, and Wolfenstein to be the holy trinity of shooters. And over the years, I've become a lot more cynical about games, and newer games just haven't been entertaining me as much. I feel like, nowadays I actually prefer to play these older shooters rather than the newer ones, just because they're still so entertaining even to this day. One thing I will point out is they censored the health packs in this, much like they did with the BFG edition of Doom. I think primarily because I think it might be trademarked by the Red Cross now to have a little red cross on it, so that's probably why they changed it to the standard pill, which is what Doom had as well, which I find very odd because they're 2 different companies, but whatever. I know this isn't very organized or anything, but I'm just giving my thoughts on the game overall. I fucking enjoy this game, and I got really good at the multiplayer. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I got really good at playing Duke Match on 360, although I did play it. I didn't start playing Duke Match until way more into the game's lifespan, so there might have just been less people. But yeah, Duke Nukem 3D, if you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely up there with Doom and Wolfenstein. I think I actually like Duke Nukem a little bit more. But it's fucking great, and if you haven't played it, give it a shot. This has been Fugitive Red-Eye, and you have a great day.